Hi everybody, this is Jen from Scrapping Posh, and I am here bringing a tutorial to you. It's going to be a really quick one, so I hope you enjoy it. A lot of you know that I am organizing my scrap room, and I came across a bunch of sentiments that I had cut out, and I didn't have anything to do with them to keep them organized. I also had originally bought these boxes from, I think they're a company called Park Lane from Joann Fabrics, and they were for my cards, but then I found boxes, bigger boxes, that the cards would be completely covered in on clearance from the Dollar Tree. So I grabbed those for the card bases, and then I have 4 of these left over, so I was pretty excited to use them. So what I decided to do was make some expanding envelopes. And you'll have to excuse my fingers, I've been spray painting, and me and spray paint don't get along apparently. And I've tried mineral spirits and in the process of nail polish remover, and I just haven't got there yet. So anyways, I had to stop and do this video for you guys. So here's these expandable pockets, and I've done these before for mini album inserts. So they're really neat. Now this is only a 4 hinge, I guess you'd call it, expanding pocket. And so it's fairly small. And I started doing these by hand, and then I got bored and tired of doing by hand, so I made a cut file for them. But you can see this one. So this one is the same, except it only has 3 spots where you can put stuff. It only has 4 hinges. The one that I'm going to show you that I've done on my silhouette, and I'm going to show you the cut and bend lines for, is for 6 hinges, makes 4 pockets. So that one I didn't finish. So here are some sentiments that I have, and what I do is on the outside I put like the category thank yous, and on the inside of the pockets I put the actual sentiment on there. And I think I can get those off if I want, but if I don't, it's not a big deal. I actually stamp these on scraps of white paper, and then you fold it up and it's ready to go in this box. Now this box measures, this is the small, it's almost like a photo box, but it's not, it's smaller. So this one measures 4 3/4, well actually it measures 5 by 7. So we made our envelopes 4 3/4 wide. The tops of these, I have them at 3/4 inch, and then they're also, if you change where you put your Velcro, I have a second bend line in there for a 1 inch, and we'll do that again on the other one. So you could expand them all the way out to 1 inch. And the bottom is a 1/2 inch, so you'd be able to fit about 9 of these in there if they're 3 1/4 inches on the top. Hang on, let me put them in there the right way. Okay, so it's like that, and you fill when you fill the box completely, they won't be flopping all over the place. Now, the ones I told you I got bored, I started doing them on my Cameo. I also cut the label on my Cameo and wrote it out. I do not have a label maker. The first ones I did, the ones I did from by hand, are a little heavier duty. This was probably like an 85-pound cardstock. I did these just with the 65-pound cardstock. And these have the 6 hinges and the 4 expansions. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's actually spots to put the 5 in there. And you always leave this one blank, because if you were to put one there, it wouldn't expand anyway. So now all of them expand. You're not wasting that one piece of paper, unless you have something tiny to put in there. The other thing that I was considering putting in there is some of my alphabets. So these are a little bulkier than my sentiments. So like here's some, no, stop. Here's some pink paisleys Yuletide, and these are just some numbers. That's 25 numbers. And I have some basic gray I can put in there. And let's see, what else do I have over here? I have, looks like a giant hashtag. I don't know if that'll fit in there or not. Again, we're kind of limited. They're about 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. Okay, that one fit. I don't think that one's going to fit. And yeah, this one's a little too long, but we can always cut it down. But anyways, you can see how big that expanded. And I can't even get my 3/4 inch still around that. So it's a really cool idea, I think. So how do you make it? You start out with a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and then you're going to need just a little bit extra. I used some scraps and or an 8 1/2 by 11. So you cut your paper at 11 1/4. Let me move that up for you. You cut your paper at 11 1/4 by 4 3/4, and again you can adjust these based on what you want. You score it at 3 1/2, 4, 7 1/2, 8 1/4, and 8 1/2. So when you're scoring on this, I would score like this: 3 1/2, a 1/2 inch from there, 3 1/2, 3/4 inch, a 1/4 inch from there, and that's all. Then this part of mine, and you can make this however you want, this part of mine is 1 inch, and I just measured a 1/2 inch from both sides from the middle, which the middle of a 4 3/4 is 2 3/8. So at 2 3/8 inch, you measure a 1/2 inch over and a 1/2 inch over, and you cut from that 8 1/2 inch line to the 1 inch line. Okay, do it again from this side, cut from the 8 1/2 inch side to that 1/2 inch or 1 inch line from over there, and that's how you get your envelope shape. And then you fold everything up the same direction after you score. You do not have to do the 8 1/2 inch mark if you're going to do the 8 1/4, and vice versa. I use that 8 1/2 inch mark to mark where I'm going to start my diagonal. I also use it in case I want a bigger expandable envelope, then I don't have to change anything. So you end up with something like that. You're a 1/4 inch bigger here than you are here. You also cut 2 pieces at 3 1/2 by 6 if you want the 5 pockets, 3 1/2 by 4 if you only want 3 pockets. And then you score at every 1/2 inch, just like that. And then you cut 4 pieces at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and this is where the extra piece of paper comes in handy, or the scrap paper, because you're only going to get, if you do it the best way you can do it, you're only going to get 1 of these on your paper. I can show you what approximately it will look like when you cut it out. If you use your Cameo, it looks exactly like this. This is your envelope, your 2 hinges. This is just like, I didn't want to waste the paper, so I cut out a little label, and then one pocket on here, and then 3 more pockets on a different piece of paper or some scraps. Okay, so let's put it together. I'm going to show you on black, which isn't the easiest to see, but it's what color I'm using, so this is what color I got. I used the white so I could show you the measurements. So the first thing we're going to do, fold all those lines up on the envelope. Again, you do not have to crease that 8.5 inch mark if you're using the 8 1/4. And then I put 2 pieces of 1/4 inch score tape on each side of these hinges on the same side of the paper. So each one of these are scored at a 1/2 inch, score tape, score tape. Now you want that to fold down. The score tape has to be on the outside, not the inside. And then you do a diagonal or a accordion fold. And hence the name accordion envelope. I call it a hinge. Okay, I'll weight that down with my ruler here. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, the score tape on the outside when you start. So once you get the cutting all done, they're relatively quick. Okay, here's the most difficult part. You take your hinge and just take one of your score tape sides off. You want your open side, the open side of your hinge to face in toward the envelope, to the inside of the envelope. Now, you pull up your envelope on the 4 inch mark. So you have a 1/2 inch score here. So you can see that. Okay, so you have your 1/2 inch score here, or your 3.5 inch score here, and then your 4 inch score here. You're lining this up with the 4 inch score. Again, the open side to the inside. And you're going to push that right up against the bottom on your 4 inch score and right up against the side. So I squish it together so I have a better control over it. Line it up with the bottom and the side. Okay, so you end up with that. We're going to do the same thing with the other side. Take off just one side of the tape. Line it up with the bottom with your open in towards the middle of the envelope. Line it up with the bottom of the envelope and the side of the envelope. And if you have problems with like interference, you can trim these down just a little bit shorter than 3.5. Okay, then I make it. That seems pretty good to me. I think it could have been a little closer to this side, but that's okay. Then you take one side score tape off. You pull this up and fold it around. I'm going to show you this way. You fold this around. Let's see if I can get you guys to see this. You're lining this accordion up with the outside of the envelope there, your 3.5 inch score. And then the side of the accordion with the side of the envelope. So you're not crooked. And then you push down here, but don't crush your spine. You want your spine to still be a 1/2 inch. Do not squish here. Okay? So we're going to do it again. Maybe a little easier to see from this side. You accordion your stuff in. Come on, get in there. And you let that expand all the way out to that 1/2 inch mark, your 3.5 inch mark. And then you line it up with the outside your accordion with the outside of your envelope. Don't smash this part. And that I got a little crooked here. There we go. And there you go. So you line one side up with this side, one side up with that side. There's nothing in between. There's no glue or anything because you want this to expand. Now let's say you have something big that you want to put in there. Don't add the pages. If you don't want a file, you just want an expandable envelope, this is for you. Just like that. Okay. If you want the different slots, you take 4 papers, and again these measure 3.5 by 4 3/4. If you have problems with clearance, again you can cut them just a little bit shorter. And one side of the paper you tape. I use tape because I'm too messy with the glue. You put the tape on one side of both ends, and it slides right into your first accordion. Don't push down until you got it in there because you got tape on it. If it sticks out a little bit, you can always trim a little bit off. Once it's in there, I put it in crooked. Okay, we're going to make it the second one now. Okay. Put it in the same accordion. You slide it in there. Once it's in there, push down on the envelope. Pocket number 1, right there. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the next accordion, with the next hinge. I'm almost out of tape, so it's kind of giving me a fit. And again, if there's a bigger thing that you want to put in here, you can leave one of these out. Put it on the same side. The tape has to go on the same side as it did the first time. Push it down. Now you have 2 pockets. Well, 3 if you count this big one. Same thing with the next one. I'll go ahead and put the tape on the next one. Okay. Slide it in there. And push it down. Don't push down on this side because we want that to stay at a 1/2 inch. Slide that in there and push down. Okay? Now there's your pockets. The last thing to do is to put your closure on it. I'm just using tiny pieces of Velcro because it's a 65-pound cardstock and not super heavy. I'm using probably like a 1/4 inch by, I don't know, a little over 1/8 inch maybe. Just a tiny piece. I put it on my top. Peel off the backing. There we go. And then when you close it, so that you're going to make this stick to the other side so it closes, just make sure that your expandable part is in the crease where you want it to fold, just like you did down here with the hinges. So you kind of fold it with the accordion all the way open. That's the idea. And then you push it down. Just like that. And now you have your closable accordion envelope for organizing or whatever else you want. And if you have a cool label maker, you can use that, but I don't, so I just made my own little labels. And you label it, and you stick it in your box. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in there. So if you have one of these 5x7 boxes, you can fit 9 in here. And if you have the ones that have 5 pockets each, that's 45 different sentiments that you can fit organized in this little container. So thanks a lot, everybody. I just wanted to share this with you. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. Stay tuned for some more cool stuff. You get to see why I have this paint all over my hands in the next few videos. Hopefully I'll be able to finish that. And yeah, thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.